All right, guys. If you haven't already, make sure that you've watched the previous video in this lesson talking about how to use I in your for loops. But I wanted to kind of take it a step further than what they talk about on CodeHS. So on this assignment right here, they're asking you to write a program that draws a circle with 0 points and then increase the number of points by 1 each time. So like circle 2360, 0, circle 2361, and then 2, and then 3. And so on until you get to 6. So let's just see what this would look like real quick. I moved us to the bottom. Okay. And then if I did 4, it'd be a square, and 5, it'd be a pentagon, and so on. You've hopefully seen that already. Well, you know, we've already discovered this is not how we want to do this. We want to do for I in range. We want to do this 7 times. And then we want to use our I so that our I goes from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3. And when it says I in range 7, it's going to go all the way up to 6. And then when it hits 7, it's going to say, no, we're not going to run it. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and then all the way up to 6 sides. So it draws a hexagon last. But you'll notice this drawing is not this. They've asked us to do something else. They've asked us to increase the radius by 20 each time. Now, hopefully you've done this in a different assignment. So one way to do it is a way that we're very familiar with. Start with a radius of 20, and then say radius equals radius plus 20. And it's taking a minute. There we go. Oh, I forgot to change my radius. There we go. And this does exactly what the program asks you to do. Okay, so this would give you 100% credit. But what I really want you to do is I want to explore the power of using I in a for loop. Okay, so I'm going to actually take this out. I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to see if we can come up with an expression that uses I to give us our radius each time. To do this, we're going to need a little bit of algebra, or just guess and check, however you would kind of prefer to look at it. So if I've got an I of 0, okay, the very first time that I run this, what do I want the radius to be? I want the radius to be 20. The next time I run it, I want the radius to be 40. The next time I run it, I want it to be 60. And then the third time, I want it to be 80, and so on. So what do I do here? How could I write this as a formula? So radius equals what? Well, if we go back to our Algebra 1 stuff, okay, we had something called the y-intercept. That was like our starting value. So what's our starting value here? What's our value of our radius when I is 0? Well, that would be 20, our y-intercept. The other thing we would always look for was our rate of change, or our slope, or whatever you wanted to call it. Well, how much are we changing each time? I'm moving from 20 to 40 to 60. Am I increasing or decreasing? Well, I'm increasing. I'm increasing by how much each time? 20. Each time I increases by 1, my radius increases by 20. So I can make my slope 20. Now, this is Python, so we need to make sure and actually multiply there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to stick that in as my radius. And what happens? The exact same thing. Instead of increasing my radius each time, I'm using this expression to say what my radius is. Now, you might ask, okay, well, what's the advantage to doing it this way? In this particular case, I'd say there's not much advantage. As a matter of fact, I don't know that this is better. It might even be a little less clear what we're doing. But when we get to more complicated things, it might be to your advantage to use that I to express what's going on. It might be simpler in a lot of cases to kind of go ahead, work out the algebra, see what's going on there. But I wanted to show you the power that you have using I and using algebra in a lot of these computer science applications to do some really powerful things.